Hey, how's it guys? It's Christopher Mosier from MyMediaHelper.com, and I haven't made a video in like 2-3 weeks. It seems like it's been quite a while. It seems like it's been longer than that. So in the month of August 2021, I've been working on 2 short stories, so it's been keeping me away from MyMediaHelper.com. There's going to be 2 anthologies that are coming out at the end of the year, and I'll show you them real quick because this is the point of this video, is some writing tips from myself. And so this is the company or publisher or whatever you want to call them. Fidget, I do believe it's called, Fidget Press. So this one is one they published before. Or no, actually, I think that's the new cover. I guess they did a Nation of the Moon Volume 1, and this is for Volume 2, my mistake. So I did a short werewolf story for that particular one. And then there's this Ancestry Data Conglomerate story, which I did a short story for that. So 2 anthologies coming out at the end of the year. So I figured, well, I spent all a month doing that and writing, and I've written comics. I've written for an online series, a comedy series. I've written for a variety of things. I have a book out there, a novelette. It's not really a novel. I guess it's like 250 pages or something like that. Anyways, I have stuff out there. So I have experience in it. Do I make a living at it? No. Have I ever made a lot of money at it? No. Made some money, but I don't know. I'm quasi-professional I don't know. It's more of a hobby, I guess. I've made money at it, and I know enough to give you some tips as far as what I do as far as writing, and hopefully some of this will help you out. So I'm going to, I actually wrote this up real quick, and I'm going to go through this. So there is some software that you can use. So you can go online and just basically put in like document or word processing into Google, and there's probably a gazillion free ones out there you can use. This is probably the best free one right here, is Libra. I'm not really sure how you pronounce it, actually. So I think I have that link up here someplace just to show you. Here it is right here. So it's very cool. It's all compatible with Microsoft. It works pretty much just as any Microsoft product would. It's got Word. It's got Excel. I think it's got a bunch of other programs with it. But I've used it quite a bit along the way. So yeah, go get it. It's free. It's open source. And it works just as good as Microsoft. The only thing you can't do is use Grammarly with it, and I'm going to discuss Grammarly in a minute. And that doesn't really matter because you can upload the file to Grammarly itself and do edits with that. But I'll discuss Grammarly if you're not sure what that is in just a moment. And then you have your Office. So I purchased a business license for Office, so it's only $5 a month. I get basically almost the full suite of your basic products, your Word, your Excel, your SharePoint, your Stream, workflows, PowerPoint, just the basic stuff. And then Microsoft has all these other tools that I don't need from where I'm sitting. So I pay $5 for that a month, and I'm really happy with it. It's got cloud. All your stuff goes up to the cloud, so I don't have to worry about losing it, and I can access it any place I want. It has an internet connection. Okay, so let me organize my thoughts real quick here. So here's a blank page, right? This is what any writer comes in contact with when they first sit down to write something, and it's the worst site ever because you got to put something on there. So my process is, okay, when it came to, and let's take Nation of the Moon, for example. When it came to this, I've seen werewolf movies. I don't know if I've ever read werewolf material books, I guess Stephen King. So I'm not a big werewolf or horror fan. I said horror, by the way. I'm not against it either. I've just never written anything to that, like that. So it was a good challenge for me. It was a good opportunity. And, so basically my process is, as I want to go through with you here, is I think about it. I mean, and I'll read what I have written here. It just sounds stupid perhaps, but I spend a week or so creating my story in my head. So when I sit down to write, I have a direction to go. So if I'm in the shower or I'm driving to work, or if I go down to the lake that's only a couple miles from here, I just sit there, drink my coffee, look at the lake, look at the people. I'm thinking about that stuff, right? I'm starting to craft something in my head. And that's a great thing, too, that I'll bring up in just a second. You know, if you're watching people or even listening to people, you can hear people's conversations depending on where you're at. And what you see, and all that stuff can come together, and you kind of form a story, kind of starting just with that stuff. So just think about it for a week or two. So brainstorming, in my definition, the difference between brainstorming and just thinking about it is actually sitting down and starting to write. Okay, I don't know what to put on this thing, so I'm just going to say I am going to start this awesome story. And just keep writing. This is about werewolves. Write any bullshit you want. That's what brainstorming is. Write down what comes to mind, even if it seems silly at the time, even if it not necessarily has anything to do with the story you're trying to write, because you might have a thought that, okay, maybe I can use this later in the story, or not. If not, you save it. You save it on another document. You save it for another story. So that's brainstorming. That's basically what I do to get to this. And I'll show you this here. This is Nation of the Moon. This is my short story that I completed here just to show you. All right, let's get back to the list here. So research, read about the subject you're writing on, even if you think you know everything you need to know. So this particular story involves two ladies. One is Puerto Rican and one is Indian, turban, not squaw, from Asia. And so I researched. I'm not a woman from Asia or Puerto Rico, so I did research on that, and I did base it on a couple people, a couple women that I do know. So it was very easy to kind of grab their voice to all the discussions I have with them and turn them into these characters, along with my research, which would be, so I had to research zoos. A funny one is because they're elephants. I had a whole thing about elephant dung and how it's turned into paper. It's a real thing. So I read about that. Very interesting. I read about a lady in India who trained special forces. I forget what her name is off the top of my head. It's in the story by the book. You'll find out. But it's a lady that's in India, a real person who's living today. She got into a position where she's like a black belt in these different type of martial arts and combat trained, and she started training special forces. So that was interesting, and I based that on one of my characters. So do research. And let me see here. What else did I want to say on that? Oh, and credit anything as far as the research is concerned. I grabbed bits and pieces and just turned it into my own. So let me see here. So backstory or research. Okay, I'm sorry, I lost my spot. Read about your subject you're writing on, even if you think you know everything you need to know. Backstory, I think, is very important for your characters, and that kind of goes hand in hand. What I was just talking about is research, because I have my two lady friends that I speak with. I researched this lady from India, and I formed this backstory. And some of the backstory is in the short story, and some of it isn't. But it just says here: have a general idea of your character's backstory, even if it doesn't appear in your story. It will help immensely knowing the motivations of your character. And motivations is the word I was trying to think of, and there it is written right there. Okay, write in stages. This is important for me. And I wrote here, your creative mind needs a rest. Make sure you give yourself a day or two to sit on the material before reviewing it. So this is really, really important. I think it is, and especially in my case, to just get away from it for a day or two. Okay, you finished your story. That's all great. Just go do something else and revisit it, and new ideas and will come to you, and you might have read through it and said, hey, this is cool. And then you came back a day or two and said, oh my God, I'm not liking this. I'm not liking that. And it will do yourself justice. So write in stages, edit. Give yourself time for this. I'm terrible at this. I'm a terrible procrastinator when it comes to writing. It's the only thing I really procrastinate at. It's hard for me to do it, so I understand everyone that wants to write, and then they come up with 9 million other excuses why not to. You actually have to sit down and do it. And as a segue, I didn't put it on here, but get away from your shit. Get away from your TV, your video games, your spouse, your girlfriend, your kids. Get away. Things I do is go down to the lake here. I live in a different city or town now than I used to. Last year I lived in another town. I'd go down to what's called the pier, where the water is, and sit at a restaurant and sip Coke and not Coke, with Diet Pepsi and coffee all day and write. I got no choice. All I got is myself, my laptop, and my Diet Pepsi. And at the same time, I can watch people walk by and kind of listen to their conversations, which is always cool. And yeah, you have no choice but to sit there and write. You don't have distractions that you would at home. So I would seriously consider, and I'll go to Dunkin' Donuts too. If it's cold out, I'll go to Dunkin' Donuts and sit there. And the good thing is I go with a full battery, and I will sit there until the battery is dead on my laptop, and then it's time to go. Okay, so you do have that that time frame that you can give yourself. So edit, give yourself time for this, give it to a friend and let them review your work. I'm also going to show you a couple tools that are going to help you immensely, because I did not have time to give it to a friend, which I should have. Timeline, give yourself, this kind of goes hand in hand with what I just said. Give yourself enough time to write the story, and then at least 2 other sessions where you sit down, scrub it. This comes after all the editing. Yeah, definitely scrub your work. And again, I'm going to show you how to scrub in just a moment. Now, scrubbing, this is where you tweak little things in the story that didn't come to mind before, just small things. And your editing should be all out of the way. Someone already read it, or you put it through the scrubber, which I'm going to show you. And it's just little things. You want to go through it again and kind of, tweak very small things. Maybe a word, maybe you used a word in the paragraph twice. You don't want, you want to kind of switch it up. Okay, inspiration. I already mentioned this, I guess, huh? Go to the coffee shop or bar, which I don't drink. I used to be an alcoholic, but I don't drink anymore. But I still go to bars. It doesn't bug me to walk into a bar. I don't get all, I'm not drooling because there's alcohol behind the bar. But especially if it's raining or it's snowing out, a bar is a great place to go, just because there's people. I can listen to conversations. There's tables there. I can write. I can people watch. I love doing both at the same time. I'll go somewhere quiet, go to a library or something, right? That's just my choice. So bar, beach, or mall. Yeah, sit in the mall, sit in the food court. Anywhere you can see different things and listen to different conversations, right? And also it's getting away from your shit. Get away from your shit. Don't have any distractions, and you'll be a better writer, trust me. It's hard. I know it's hard to sit down and once you're into it, that's the thing. Once you're into it, once you're going, I'm going. I'm totally into the whole project, but it's getting there, which is a total pain in the balls. And then we're going to touch upon this. I recommend Grammarly, which I'm going to show you, and Natural Reader, which I just found, which helped me immensely, and I'm going to show you that. So let's talk about Grammarly, and it's basically, as its namesake, it helps you with grammar and spelling and punctuation and all that thing. I'm a terrible speller. I'm terrible with grammar. I'm just not good with that stuff. I think I'm a good storyteller. I just don't think I'm very good at, and I can construct words and things and phrases really good. I think I'm just not good at the other stuff, which I guess you would call technical stuff. So basically on this, what you would do, and I bought the premium just for 1 month. It was $30, and I only did it for this particular project. And I'll only do it when I have a big project like this, and I'm not going to pay for it every month because I don't need it every month. So you can go here, new, and then so here, let me bring this over for you. And so this is, I've got my file here. I'm just going to bring this over as an example. You just drag this over and kind of asks you questions on what it's going to be. I kind of use just neutrality on this, just neutral, tell a story, done. So it goes through this whole thing. You can do them all at once, which I don't recommend, because sometimes Grammarly's totally changing what you're trying to convey. And it does give you an option where you can have Grammarly not correct anything that's in quotes, because characters say strange things. You have to say strange things that aren't necessarily proper grammar, proper use of language. So yeah, you just go through this, and It will show you exactly what you should change, or it gives you suggestions towards what you should change. You don't have to change everything. If it's not reading what you're trying to convey, just hit this thing. It's a garbage pail. Okay. And yeah, so here, this is just having me change a word, which I've already scrubbed through this. So they fact, but there's the fact. There's a fact that history books can't tell us, and a fact is fine for me. So it's got 87 suggestions. Actually, this is an old one I scrubbed through. But anyways, that's basically what Grammarly does. And so you could upload it as a Word doc, and you can download it as a Word doc. And that helps out immensely. Something that freaking blew my mind, which I never thought of before, was this natural reader. So this is an AI, right? An artificial intelligence. And basically it takes your story and reads it. And as it's reading it, it's like follow the bouncing ball. And I'm going to show you. And let me see here. Online. And I bought a subscription for a month for this for $9.99. Again, I'm going to cancel it. And I will definitely get it again when I have a project like this. So once again, let me do Nation of the Moon. Let me bring it over here. Let me put it there. Okay, it's going to upload it. And it's processing. It just takes a few seconds. It doesn't take very long. They're short stories, so they're not very long. I think they're about 10,000 words each, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, and it's going to do its thing. I'm going to start like here. Oops, and I didn't want to do that right off the bat. But so you have different speakers. This is what I wanted to show you. You have different dialects, different languages, and so on. I use English, like Queen's Old English dialect, just because it's, I don't know, I like how it sounds. So So as you see, it scrolls through as it's reading to you, and it's so much better to pick up stuff. I mean, I sat there and I read through it a few times, but when someone else is reading it to you and you actually can see the words as someone else is speaking, and I understand that someone else is an AI, same damn thing. It's great. It's wonderful. I highly recommend doing that for your stories before you submit them. And as far as everything else, I think that's it, guys and gals. It's pretty long-winded. I'm kind of fumbled and fimbled as I always do, and I'm glad to be back. I got a lot of ideas for other videos, and September is going to be the month to get those out there. But I hope this helps you, get you inspired for your writing endeavors, and gives you some tools to get going, and some ideas, and some points and tips. And guys and gals, that's it. I'm over with this video. I'm going to wish you a good day. I'm going to wish you a goodbye. All right, go write. So get rid of those distractions, okay? All right, guys and gals, I'll talk to you later. Bye. Peace.